Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole Tisdale, and we are so excited that you all are joining us for the AMA. And for those of you all who are not hardcore Reddit fans, an AMA is an Ask Me Anything. So first up, we have Congressman Mark Takano from the California 31st. He's the chair of the House Committee on Veteran Affairs, and he's the winner of the 2020 Congressional Management Foundation Award for Innovation and Modernization. Also, shout out to the Veteran Affairs Committee because they were the first committee to hold a virtual hearing. And so also we're going to be joined by Yuri Beckelman, who is his Deputy Chief of Staff, and he's the founder of the Democratic Communications Association. And they're going to be joined by Daniel Schumann of Demand Progress and the First Branch Forecast. He's going to moderate questions. I have to plug the First Branch Forecast. Your cheat sheet for everything that's going on in Congress is the First Branch. You can just literally read that and you'll know everything that's going on. So Daniel, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Congressman, it's good to see you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining. You missed the fantastic introduction of you, so I will just simply say it is a pleasure to have you join us. We were applauding the first successful virtual hearing that you held. That was, I watched it live. It was a lot of fun.
I'll just say that since I've been in Congress, when I was elected in 2012, we've made much progress as an institution in innovating and embracing technology to serve our constituents better. But there's still a lot of work left to be done to bring it into the 21st century. And, from the very beginning, I've made embracing technology and using it to serve our constituents a priority. And we've contributed to House efforts to modernize Congress by, embracing that innovation, science, and technology into our practices internally. The policies and practices that we have implemented have encouraged creativity, pushed for innovation, modernized traditional approaches to governing. I brainstorm closely with my team quite often to motivate them to pitch new ideas. And the office culture has allowed us to collaborate and deliver solid results. Throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, my office, like so many others, has had to make adjustments to the way we operate in order to continue serving the community in a safe yet efficient way. We use platforms such as Zoom and Facebook Live to regularly host town halls, and we host grant writing workshops. We've done that virtually. And we have informational webinars to provide constituents with the tools and resources they need to navigate this pandemic. And I know recently my staff conducted an orientation for high school students about our service academies. We did that virtually as well. We also like to promote the use of the effective use of digital in the Democratic caucus by embracing digital platforms to message to our constituents and by organizing something we call the Digital Academy. I'm proud to say we've trained 200 Democratic staffers on the best use of social media tools and digital best practices. I would like to think this has made an enormous contribution to just the entire staff's ability across the Democratic caucus to become more effective at digital communication. And we're also, continually experimenting on new ways to reach new audiences. One approach that my communications director, myself, and I have to really credit her, Diana Ramirez, for looking at trying to reach audiences that aren't necessarily inherently and traditionally political. That there are a lot of overlapping audiences out there. There are audiences that might be formed by influencers who are maybe more like comedians. They've built their audiences, and I may have been the first politician to actually show up, say on a podcast that they conduct. So, we're looking to reach out to various parts of the community by actually looking at the different ways in which the digital communities are emerging.
That's a great point. I want to follow up on that. The reason why I'm always so excited as a policy person when the congressman does that is because, unlike the 2-minute hit on CNN, the congressman is really able to talk through the finer points of the policy and why it would help people who are experts or who really care about these issues. And my favorite that he goes on is this millennial finance podcast called Bad with Money, and they talk about kind of the underlying reasons why rent is so high, right? And you don't have to just hit the soundbite that people are struggling. We can have a conversation about how we can fix it and talk about it for an hour, and it's not confrontational. It's really sticking to the policy, and it has a much bigger audience who's paying attention the whole time. It's a lot of fun to do those.
A great jumping off point to ask the question: how do you find the right staff who can help you pursue that agenda? So we have a number of incoming members and incoming chiefs of staff. How do you find your Yuri, right? How do you find the person who's going to help you, or your communicator who's going to help you? What do you look for? How do you do that?
Well, I was exhausted after a very long election time. So it was a long process, and I was tired by the end of that. And I basically delegated to my chief. I said, look, I have faith in you as somebody who got me elected. You are from the Texas House. You've been the equivalent of like the staff of the Democratic caucus at the Texas House, but you don't really have experience here in DC and relationships. Yuri was among those for ledge director, and so he had this tech interest. And he also sort of went outside the box with my first communications director, Brett Morrow. Brett had a background in hip hop promotion, and understood social media, understood building brands. And so I would say that we had this team of people, from the chief to the ledge director to the communications director, who were all kind of on a similar page as far as looking how to build my profile in digital media space. And those first 2 years were really kind of important. But we were known in that 2013, 2014 session as a real innovator in social media. And, once I had that first staff, they drew other staff members.
I apologize. I'm going to have to stop it there, not because I'm not interested, but because Nicole's appearance means that I'm going to get the hook. Would you, if I can ask, just impose this very quick, if folks have questions about how you built your team, is it okay if the incoming members reach out to you or to Yuri or to other folks to learn?
Oh, sure. We don't like to hoard. We like to share. So
wonderful.
It's good.
Well, your office is phenomenal to deal with. I enjoy your team very much. Thank you so much for your time, Congressman. Thank you, Yuri. And I know we'll be seeing you guys soon.